This is the Project Executive Playbook for the 575 volleyball camps. In this presentation, we're going to talk about why and how these camps can be successful and get us a lot of money. We're going to go through the project charter, developing a communication plan, the initial project executive plan, the cost benefit analyst and the risk management plan, the budget proposal, and the quality assurance plan. When going through all of these different works, we're going to see why this project is going to be successful. We will also see some of the risk that we have during this project and how we can solve the risk so that way we can be prepared. Please stick around so that way we can go through all of these documents and talk about each one in depth so that way we can be prepared for the best. For the project charter, we'll first go into the executive summary of the volleyball camps. The volleyball camps will be hosted by 575, and it can be hosted at different locations. The main location will be Lake Point Sports. The whole point of the camps are to improve the athletes' level of volleyball, for them to get better coaching, and for us to provide the best training we can. During the training, we'll basically have different coaches doing different skills. This will help the coaches be able to specialize in that one skill they're teaching for the kids to get the best out of it and the most information. Next, the project purpose is not only for these athletes to gain skill and knowledge about the game, it is also to help them get exposure to the game. If they want to do tryouts, not only at 575, but if they choose to go somewhere else, they now have exposure to some coaches and they can get a feel for what they're going to be doing during the season. Having these camps also help them to get a feel if they like our club 575, which will bring us in more money in the long term because they'll be playing for us during the season. Some of the project details for this project and these camps are, we'll host them on different weekends before tryouts. This way, the athletes can sign up, come to these camps, and get better so that way when tryouts come, they'll be able to make a team that they're wanting to make. The other side of this project is we will have plenty of coaches who come and they can choose which they want to coach. Then once they do that, we will have different skills set up for the athletes to achieve. Some risks that could take place during this project is us not promoting it enough, and that means not enough girls or athletes will be able to show up. But other than that, the risks are very low during this project as long as we promote in the way we need to. Up next is the project management communication plan. In this, it shows how we're going to communicate, the objectives of why we're communicating, the method, how often, and who's getting to hear this. So for the first thing, some ways we're going to communicate is through email. This is just going to be updates to the staff, and then we'll also have emails sent out to potential athletes that will come to these camps. The next way of communicating will be in-person meetings. This will be to update all the coaches on when to come, how it's going to run, the schedule of the day, so that way everyone is on the same page when it comes down to it. The next thing would be one-on-one meetings, and this would be for if an athlete wants to talk to the coaches, they can do that. Allowing these athletes to have the one-on-one meetings with the coaches is very important because it makes the athletes feel like they're being heard or they're getting their questions answered in a personal way instead of just doing it in a big group. at the camps. This will also help with how the athletes look at your club and how the athletes are going to want to come back because we're so personable with them, and it helps out. And this is the cost benefit analyst and the risk management. So what this is saying is everything that is going to cost us, and it goes through a breakdown of how much it's going to cost and how much we have, and then at the end it puts a total together. As you can see, we're doing really good on the cost, and our pricing and our money management should make us successful. If you click the link, it'll take you to a risk management plan, and this just basically shows the risks that this project could have. Financially, there's not many risks, as in we'll probably make our money because there's so many athletes that want to try volleyball and want to try to get out there and play. So there will be people coming. The other risk is making sure we have a good price point, as in not making the camps too expensive, but making it where it's worth their time and money to come and learn from these coaches. The other risk about this project is making sure we promote it so that way people know about it and tell their friends and get people to come to the camps. But that is the only other risk that we could have. Lastly, the other risk would be Lake Point, the place we're using, gets booked, but to solve that, we just make sure that we book them way in advance and make sure we have enough courts in case we need them. So that's the only other risk there are. This is the initial project executive plan, and this is a breakdown on the timeline of the project. So we start out with what we're going to do first in this project, how many days it's going to take, and then the end date of it. Then we move on. So first we'll start out with promoting the camp, getting it all set up. This should only take a couple days. Then we're going into promoting it on all social media, and then we'll go into scheduling the day out. So this should be like a breakdown of each minute by minute of the camp and what we should be doing. Next is making sure we have enough coaches there for the players. And then the next thing we should be doing is making sure we have enough courts and availability. Then we should go into getting a rough estimate of how many girls will be there. And lastly, we put the camp together, and that should be it. This next thing is the budget proposal. Basically breaks down the budget. For these camps, the budget is not super big because we should be getting money during it. Really all we have to pay for is coaches, the space we're using, and any new equipment we need. But fortunately, we have most of the equipment already since we've already put an investment for that. The only big cost is really paying the coaches to come coach and making sure we rent the courts, which can be costly. But this is why we make sure we're charging enough when we're charging each player, so that way it balances out, and we end up earning more money than we spend, which is always good. You don't ever want to be spending more money than making. This is the quality assurance plan, and what this basically does, this is a breakdown of our quality of everything of the project, making sure that it is to the top quality that it needs to be, that we have everything broke down so that way when we put it all together, it's not sloppy, the camp is run smoothly, and it will make the players and athletes and the parents want to come back and do more camps, since we had everything structured out and we had a plan for everything. This will also help making sure that all the coaches are on the same plan and not having the coaches run around confused or not sure what to do next, because we all have the same plan. We've all talked about it, and we will all make sure that it goes smoothly, and if we have problems, we will come to the director and it will get handled without making a big scene about anything. So that's basically the rundown for this project. Everything we need to do for this to be successful. I truly believe that these camps can get us a lot of money, and we can get a lot of new players in the gym. That way, when it comes to tryouts, we'll have plenty of girls to make teams, and everyone will enjoy it because they know how we run our program. It's just really important that we stick to the details and make sure everything goes as planned and try to keep it very structured and professional.